I've lived in apartments my whole life. I know how they work. You've got a kitchen with an oven. You've got a bathroom with a light switch inside the bathroom. You've got a washing machine inside the apartment. And the front door has one lock. That's it. That's the list. I thought that was universal. I thought that was just what apartments were. I was wrong about every single one of these things. Every one. And a couple of things I didn't even know were on the list. Hey, I'm Matt, the Americano. I've been living in Colombia for several years now. And one of the first things you figure out when you get here is that apartments are different. Not dangerous, not broken, just built like someone read a description of an apartment but had actually never been inside one. And I say that with love. I genuinely do. But I'm going to count down 10 things that will confuse you, concern you, or make you question what you thought you knew about buildings. Let's get into it. In Colombia, many apartments come with what's called a cuarto de servicio, a maid's room. Now, I want you to picture a normal apartment, not a nice apartment, not a fancy apartment, a regular medium apartment. This apartment has an extra room in it for the maid. In the United States, if your home has a dedicated living quarters for household staff, you have things named after you. You have a foundation. People write books about your family. Here it's just Tuesday, just a room right there, comes with the apartment. Now the room has its own bathroom sometimes, a little bathroom, very small. It's got a toilet, a shower head, and sometimes a sink. Sometimes it looks like it was thinking about having a sink and just didn't follow through. You stand in the doorway and you just stare at it because Americans don't get bonus rooms. We get rooms we can't afford. Getting a room you didn't ask for is not a problem we are trained for. So you stare at it for about a week. Then you put a desk in there and now you have a home office. You didn't plan that. The apartment planned it for you. Now the kitchen in a Colombian apartment is best described as optimistic. Somebody built it and thought, you can probably make food here. We believe in you. There's counter space for about 2 decisions. You can either chop something or set something down, not both. You pick one and you commit. And it's a closed off room, not an open concept. In the US, we knocked all those walls down. We wanted islands, double sinks, sight lines. Here, the kitchen wanted privacy. The kitchen is in there doing its thing and it doesn't really need you involved. And then there's the oven situation. There's a good chance your apartment does not have an oven. Not a small oven, not a weird oven, no oven. There's a stovetop, 4 burners, that's it. I opened every cabinet. I checked under the sink. I looked behind the refrigerator, except there wasn't a refrigerator either. That's a different problem for a different day. And here's the thing, Colombians don't really bake at home. They don't need to. There is a bakery within 1 block of wherever you are standing right now. The neighborhood is the oven. The whole thing was outsourced to the street and nobody told the apartment. So you can get a little countertop oven. It sits on one of the 2 surfaces your kitchen has. And now you've used up your one decision. The kitchen made your choice for you. Now every window in your Colombian apartment has metal bars on it. Every one, floor to ceiling, sometimes decorative, sometimes just bars. They keep out whoever the bars are for. But here's the thing. There are no screens. The bars are there. The screens are not. So whatever the bars are keeping out, the mosquitoes just fly right through. They look at those bars and go, oh good, a frame. Thank you for the frame. And the apartment doesn't come with curtains either. No curtains, no rods, no blinds, no filter for the insects, no filter for the light, no filter for the building across the street. Now getting curtains in Colombia is not what you think. There is no Amazon. You go to a specialized curtain store. Someone comes and measures your windows. You pick a fabric, they make them. You wait a week, maybe 2. In the meantime, the sun comes up at 5:30 every morning, all year. No seasonal mercy. Day 1, no curtains. Day 2, you hang a bed sheet with tape. Day 3, the tape fails at 3 a.m. The sun wakes you at 5:30. Day 4, better tape. Day 5, you call the curtain store. Colombia gave you the bars. The rest, you figure out. Your balcony is not for furniture. Your balcony is not for plants. Your balcony is not for sitting outside with a coffee in the morning. Your balcony is the laundry room. The washing machine lives on the balcony, not near the balcony, not next to the balcony, on the balcony, outside, plugged in, just out there. And by the way, there is no dryer. There is no dryer. After the wash, your clothes go on a tendedero, a drying rack, and then you wait. That's the system. Washing machine and patience. Now in Bogota, clothes can take 2 days to dry because Bogota is cloudy a lot. The weather app just says cloudy for the next 6 days and offers no apology. Whether you can wear something on Thursday depends entirely on whether Wednesday had sun. That is a sentence I now say out loud. I never thought about how long clothes take to dry in my entire life. I put them in, I came back, done. That system does not exist here. Here, drying is a relationship. You check on the clothes, you think about the clouds, you make decisions. The dryer was one of the great inventions of the 20th century. Colombia looked at it and said, we're good, we're fine, we've got the balcony. And I respect that. I don't agree with it, but I respect it. Back home, every house has a water heater. Big white tank, sits in a closet somewhere, quietly holds 40 or 50 gallons of hot water just in case you need it. You never think about it. You don't know where it is. It's just there, like a savings account for warm showers. In Colombia, that tank doesn't exist. The hot water comes from a small box on the wall called a calentador de paso. It heats the water the moment you ask for it. Not before, not stored somewhere, just made to order. When I moved in, I spent a full 20 minutes looking for the tank. I opened every closet. I checked the maid's room. I checked what I thought might be a utility room. It turned out to be a room that didn't really have a purpose. Colombia has rooms like that. Just a room, no explanation. The tank was never there. It was never going to be there. And then some apartments have gas from a cylinder, which is a separate container of anxiety because the cylinder has no gauge, no meter, no warning light. You find out it's empty when the shower gets cold. Midway through. There is no countdown. There is no system. There is only faith in a small box on the wall. And the thing is, it works perfectly fine. It's more efficient. Only heats what you use. My American brain just needed a moment. Back home, we store hot water like it might become illegal. Here, they make it when you ask, like a good restaurant. I came around on it, but I still check the cylinder every time because I've been in that shower.
Quick thing before we keep going. Bogota Nomads dinner, April 30th, 6 p.m., new restaurant. Last time we had 51 people show up and completely overtook and overfilled the restaurant, which was amazing. But also, the restaurant would like a heads up this time. So we're capping it at 30. So RSVP today so you get your spot. This is one of my favorite spots in Bogota. It's a Mediterranean fusion restaurant combining French, Greece, Spain, and Italian cuisine. The menu is just ridiculous. I'm not going to oversell it. I'm just going to tell you I keep going back, and I don't do that for places that are fine. RSVP link is on the screen right now. It's $7 to reserve your spot. We're not making any money on this. It's basically a deposit so the restaurant knows you're coming. You show up, we hand you 20,000 pesos cash at the door. You pay for your own food and drink. Good food, good people, no agenda, 30 spots. Once they're gone, they're gone. If you're in Bogota on the 30th, come eat with us.
Now, there is no carpet in Colombia. None. Every floor is ceramic tile or marble or something that looks amazing in photos and feels like a punishment at 6 in the morning. In the American Midwest, carpet is just what floors are. When you move somewhere new, you don't ask if there's carpet. You ask what color the carpet is. And the answer is usually beige. It's always beige. Here, that question doesn't exist. The floor is tile, cold tile. In Bogota at 6 in the morning, your bare foot touches that floor and every nerve in your body says, why would you do that to me? Colombians have known this their entire lives. So they wear chancletas, flip-flops, inside the house. Every Colombian home, everyone, all the time. I stepped out of bed barefoot on my first morning. By day 3, I had chancletas. Nobody told me. The floor told me. And here's the thing. I didn't just buy one pair. I bought 3. One by the bed, one by the front door, one in the bathroom. Strategically placed throughout the apartment like fire extinguishers, but for cold. There's also the noise situation. Without carpet, every single footstep from upstairs is a public information. I know my upstairs neighbor's entire schedule now. Coffee at 7:15, shower at 7:30. Something dropped in the kitchen at 7:45. Every Tuesday. I don't know what it is. I've stopped wondering. The floors are cold. The floors are loud. The floors look great. If you drop a glass, the floor always wins. Colombia made no apologies. Colombia classifies every property on a scale of 1 to 6 based on the neighborhood. Your number, your estrato, determines what you pay for electricity, water, and gas. Higher stratums subsidize lower ones. Okay. That's a policy, fine. The weird part is that this number is printed on your utility bill. First time I saw it, I thought it was an account number or a zip code or a rating I had received without being asked. So I looked it up, and it turns out my address has an official government socioeconomic classification, a number on a list that has existed for decades. Not me personally, my address, but also kind of me. And here's the part that's hard to explain to an American. In Colombia, people ask which estrato you live in the same way Americans ask what neighborhood you're in. Except to an American ear, that sounds like you're asking how much money you make out loud at dinner. It's the same information. Colombia just says it. I live in estrato 6. I pay a little more each month to help someone I'll never meet. And honestly, I've made peace with that. It's the most honest thing on any bill I've ever received. Everything else in life is that number. Colombia just prints it. There's a thing in Colombia that I still think about. The empty apartment that no one rents. You see it from the street. Nice place, good building, good location. Sign out front for 8 months. Price never changed. And you think, why is nobody renting that? And the answer is paperwork. To rent an apartment in Colombia, you need your ID, proof of income, references, and something called a codeador, a cosigner, someone who backs you with their own financial assets. And the codeador also has to submit their own proof of income, their own references, their own documentation. You need someone who trusts you so much, they're willing to put their own financial life behind yours. And that person also needs a file. As a foreigner, I had none of that. No Colombian ID, no Colombian employer, no Colombian cosigner. So I offered 6 months upfront cash, more than the asking price. The owner said no, not rudely, very calmly. No counteroffer. Just no, because it wasn't about the money. It was about the paperwork. And here's the part that got me. The same owner would have rented to me through an agency and a mobile area. No problem. Completely fine, because the agency has the stamp. Same person, same income, same apartment. But now there's a stamp? And the stamp changes everything? The apartment sat empty, and the owner was okay with that. I don't fully understand it, but I respect the commitment to the process. That's a level of principle I aspire to. Your first week in a Colombian apartment, you walk around and figure out where all the switches are. This one's the living room. This one's the hallway. This one, flip it, nothing happens. You move on. Every room has its own logic, and you figure it out until you get to the bathroom. The light switch for the bathroom is outside the bathroom in the hallway, which means any person in your apartment can turn off the light while you're inside. This is not an accident. It's like this in every apartment. Someone decided this. In the United States, that would be a building code violation. Here, it's just where the switch is, and it will happen to you. You're in the shower, the water is warm, which is a small victory, and you're grateful. And then, dark. Someone walked past the hallway, their elbow caught the switch, they didn't even know. They're in the kitchen right now making a sandwich, having a great time. And then it happens to every visitor. Your friend, your mom, the plumber, every person who comes to your apartment will eventually turn off the light on you. It's a rite of passage. And then one day, you're walking down the hallway. Your arm brushes the wall. From the bathroom, hey, you did it. You became the person. Colombia didn't design this as a prank, but it left the infrastructure ready just in case. And finally, the front door. Your apartment door in Colombia has multiple locks. Not one lock, not a lock and a deadbolt like a normal person, multiple deadbolts, sometimes 3, and each one is a different key. Top lock, your key. Middle lock, different key. Bottom lock, also different, every single day. And the order matters. If you do them out of sequence, one won't turn. That's a correct order. Every door has its own correct order. There's no universal system. You just have to figure it out. Like life. It takes about a week to learn yours. And then one day you arrive home with groceries. Bags on both arms, cutting off circulation to your hands, and you need 3 different keys in the right order while holding groceries. This is the moment you find out what you're made of. And if you forget one key, just one, you have to go back because you cannot leave a third of your security apparatus at home. That's just not how this works. Back in the States, I had 1 key. 1. I never thought about it. I just opened the door and went inside. Here, getting into your apartment is a small project, a short project, but a project. And after a while, you stop thinking about it. You just stand there working through the locks like a person who has accepted that security takes a minute. And honestly, nobody is getting through 3 deadbolts. The apartment is very secure. They might come through the window though. No screens, no curtains, just bars. But we covered that. Look, Colombian apartments are different. They're not bad. They're not broken. They just work on a different set of assumptions than what I grew up with. The hot water is made fresh, like a good restaurant. The floors are cold and beautiful. The balcony is a laundry room. Your estrato is on your electric bill. The light switch is in the hallway. And to get in the front door, you need all 3 keys in the right order. And you know what? You adjust. One day you just stop noticing. The bars are just the windows. The deadbolts are just the door. The chancletas are just what you wear inside now. And the light switch in the hallway, you learned where it is. The hard way. twice.
If you're thinking about exploring Colombia, I've put together regional guides that break down things like the cost of living, neighborhoods, visas, and what daily life is really like in different parts of the country. You can buy those and the links are in the description below. And be sure to join my newsletter and private community, The Passport, where we have active discussions about living abroad. If you're living in Bogota or thinking about moving here, we also have a community called Bogota Nomads. Our last dinner had 51 people, and so far we've had expats from more than 10 different countries join us. It's also open to English-speaking Colombians. And if you're interested for real estate or international business opportunities, join my broker newsletter. All of the newsletters are free to join, and the links are in the description below. Before we wrap up, I want to mention something happening in the United States that affects millions of Americans. A proposed bill in Congress by Senator Bernie Moreno called SB 3283 would require Americans with dual citizenship to choose one nationality or risk losing their U.S. citizenship. Think about the people you know who hold a second passport. Many of us do, and we don't even realize it. These aren't foreigners, they're Americans. Like my friend Wes, a retired Marine who served our country and married his wife while stationed in Asia. Or Nathan, who met the love of his life while working in Germany. Or the pastor born in Venezuela who now leads an American congregation. Or Marco, who runs a pizza shop in New York while honoring his Italian ancestry. Millions of Americans have connections to other countries through family, marriage, or heritage. These are the people Senator Bernie Moreno's Exclusive Citizenship Act bill would target. He wants to force them to renounce their heritage or lose their citizenship. But here's the kicker. Moreno himself wasn't even born in the U.S. He was born right here in Bogota, Colombia. We have so many freedoms in the U.S., which is why we're called the land of the free. Why does a man who was born abroad want to take your freedom away? Let's stop this bill. Go to citizenshipfreedom.org and donate today. Every little bit helps. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next video. Take care.